we are awaiting word from Mar-a-Lago on what transpires from the meeting right now happening between Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's Prime Minister Donald Trump, and Ed Henry joins me live right now to talk about the scene, the feeling there. Obviously, so far, Ed, it seems to be peaceful on the streets near Mar-a-Lago on that bridge, but we knew they'd be back at it down here, leaving D.C. to make a show of things.
Yeah, there is good to see you, Bianca. There's a group of protesters over my left shoulder on the southern bridge that connects West Palm Beach to Palm Beach Island, where Mar-a-Lago is. Obviously, they've been shouting various things through bullhorns, much smaller than what we've seen in Washington. Haven't seen any destruction like we saw, burning American flags and all of that disgusting behavior. More important than that is the substance of what's going on behind me. We're just getting word from the small pool of reporters inside Mar-a-Lago behind me that there are starting to be some comments from former President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu, the former president, saying that the American and Israeli hostages need to be released immediately, demanding that Hamas, the terror group, do that. As you know, the entire Biden-Harris team, from President Biden to Vice President Harris, almost never mention these hostages, which include several Americans. Former President Trump making that an important part of his remarks. We should be turning some tape on that soon. Netanyahu, by the way, saying he's sending and dispatching a special team, according to Reuters, to Rome to try to push forward on these ceasefire talks. Netanyahu adding, time will only tell if we're closer to an actual deal to get those hostages, Americans and Israelis, out and bring an end to this Israeli-Hamas conflict. The former president, by the way, also just said that he believes that Kamala Harris's remarks last night at the White House were disrespectful to Israel. How it played out, much different, as you've been noting for the last hour or so. Big contrast to when Donald Trump was in office, very close with our most important ally in the Mideast. A different situation with the Biden-Harris team. Last night, Harris on her own, meeting one-on-one, trying to burnish her foreign policy credentials, get ready for this presidential campaign in the final 100 days or so, perhaps. She met briefly for the cameras with Netanyahu. Then they were behind closed doors, and then she brought the TV cameras back, but would not stand beside the Israeli prime minister. Instead, after brief comments on her own saying that she supports Israel, she went on and on about the plight of the Palestinian people, angering the Israeli side. Watch these comments.
I also expressed with the Prime Minister my serious concern about the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians. And I made clear my serious concern about the dire humanitarian situation there, with over 2 million people facing high levels of food insecurity, and 500,000 people facing catastrophic levels of acute food insecurity. What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating.
Yeah, and so the Israeli press saying this morning that the Netanyahu delegation was upset about some of those remarks and the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu didn't even have a microphone to give his side of the situation. She's trying, obviously, to reach out to her left-wing base ahead of this presidential campaign and focus more on the Palestinian side than the Israeli side. Again, sharp contrast to what we see in the comments from former President Trump, who's been a strong ally with Netanyahu in the 4 years while he was in office, and that continues now today behind me. Final point I make is the big picture, Bianca. As you know, this is not the first world leader to come to Mar-a-Lago, which has been known as the Southern White House. You've seen Viktor Orban from Hungary. You've seen the British Foreign Minister, David Cameron, as well. They see a potential transfer in power coming at the end of this year, and all kinds of world leaders are coming to South Florida to meet with the former president, who could be the president in waiting. Bianca?
Yeah, it was incredible. After the NATO summit, where you had Biden calling Zelensky Putin, you had Orban literally flying out of D.C. to go right down to where you are standing right now. Ed, great to have you in. Obviously, high stakes with what's happening with these hostages, critical times here, and the messaging is so important. Appreciate that update here.